You know, we're all dealing with a ton of anxiety and stress in this crazy modern world. But what if I told you there's an ancient tool, kind of like a mental operating system, that's just shockingly effective at handling it all? Let's dive in.
Seriously, just think about your day for a second. How much of it is spent worrying about stuff that is completely 100% outside of your control? The traffic, the economy, what somebody else thinks about you. It can really feel like we're just passengers in our own lives, right? But what if you could actually grab the steering wheel and take back control of your own inner world?
Well, that's where this first idea comes in. The ancient Stoics. They built their entire philosophy on this really simple observation they called the dichotomy of control. It's just recognizing that some parts of our lives we command and other parts, well, we don't. I like to call it the anxiety guillotine. It's this sharp, simple tool that just cleanly separates what you should worry about from what you shouldn't. I know, this quote from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, it sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But the genius here isn't just in the words. It's about using this idea like a surgical tool for your mind every single day to separate what you can actually influence from what you can't. Okay, so to really get this, let's picture it. Imagine your life is made up of two circles, one nestled right inside the other. Understanding this is, well, it's the key to everything. So that small inner circle, that's your kingdom. It's got your opinions, your actions, your intentions. Inside that circle, you have absolute power. You are the king. But that vast outer circle, that's everything else. The weather, the economy, other people's moods, heck, even the final outcome of your best efforts. And in that circle, you have zero control. You're just a spectator. And here's the wild part. This right here, it reveals a modern tragedy. We spend something like 90% of our precious emotional energy trying to control that outer circle, yelling at traffic, losing sleep over a dumb comment someone made. And in the process, we totally abandon the one place where we actually have power. It is literally like trying to steer someone else's car from the passenger seat. It's exhausting and it gets you nowhere. Okay, so how do we actually use this? Well, the Stoics had this really powerful metaphor to help explain it: the archer. The Stoic Archer is obsessed with everything in their inner circle. They meticulously choose the bow, they carefully feather the arrows, they train their muscles, and they perfect their aim. Every single one of these steps is 100% within their control. Now this right here, this is the whole game. The foolish archer ties their happiness to the outcome. Did the arrow hit the bullseye? But the Stoic Archer, they find success in the quality of the shot itself. The moment that arrow is released, they've already won. A sudden gust of wind, a target that moves, that's the outer circle. It has absolutely no bearing on whether they succeeded. And this is how we bring it into our own lives. This is huge. You can't control whether someone loves you or if you get that promotion. That's the target. It's out there. But you can absolutely 100% control being a kind, honest, and hardworking person. That is the perfect shot. So you got to focus on your actions, not the results. All right, let's switch gears and talk about another area where this is super useful. Let's talk about dismantling a single word, just one, that probably causes you way more mental suffering than you even realize. This word, should. Think about it. Every single time we use it, we're basically arguing with reality. We're trying to force our will onto that outer circle, the place where we have no power at all. It is a guaranteed recipe for frustration. I mean, do any of these sound a little familiar? The traffic should be moving. My boss should have recognized my work. Each should is like a tiny declaration of war on the world as it actually is, and it's an exhausting, unwinnable battle. And this is so key. Dropping should does not mean you give up and become a doormat. It means you stop wasting energy on all the noise and you focus on the signal. So instead of the traffic should be moving, it becomes, okay, the traffic is slow. What can I do in my inner circle right now? I can listen to a podcast. Instead of my partner should understand me, it becomes I can't control their understanding, but I can control how clearly and kindly I explain myself. You become efficient with your own peace of mind. So, how do we put all of this into practice, like right now, today? It all starts with building what the Stoics called your inner citadel, basically an impregnable fortress inside your mind. Here's a super simple 3-step exercise. The very next time you feel that frustration or anxiety bubbling up, just pause. Step 1, notice the feeling. Step 2, ask yourself this simple question. Is this my business? Is this in my inner circle? If it's the weather or the news or someone else's mood, the answer is no. Step 3, Consciously turn your focus back to the only thing that is your business, your very next thought and your very next action. When you really internalize this, deep down in your bones, you realize a profound truth. You are never a victim. The world can throw whatever it wants at you, but it cannot touch the core of who you are unless you let it. You become like a rock in the middle of a rushing river. So, I'll leave you with this question, a challenge, really. By using this mental filter, this simple distinction between your two circles, what piece of anxiety, what little frustration, what weight from that outer circle will you decide to put down today?